we are going to start the chapter polynomials. First of all, we have to understand what is meant by a polynomial. See, first thing, we have a word poly here, that means many, and the word nomial means terms. Polynomial means a thing that contains of a number of terms. So it can be a single term also, it can be two terms, it can be three terms, it can be four terms, or it can be n number of terms. So an expression containing one term, two term, that is a polynomial. So now let's take an example. This is a polynomial px. The general form of it is given like a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube and so on. This is anxn. So this is the general expression of polynomial, and the most important thing to be observed in the polynomial is the power of the variable should be a positive integer, or we can say the power of the variable should be a whole number. Like if we have any variable in a polynomial, so we write the variable and the power should be this power should be a whole number. This should be a whole number. Then only it is said to be a polynomial. If I take an example, let's say 2x square. Is it a polynomial? Yes, it's a polynomial because we have a single term. It satisfies now, and then the power of the variable is 2, so it is a polynomial. If I say root x, so is it a polynomial? So whenever we are going to check for the polynomial, we have to see the power. If the power is a positive integer, so or a whole number, so x raised to the power 1 by 2, here the power of the x is 1 by 2. It is not a whole number. It's not a whole number, so this is not a polynomial. So it means it is not going to be a polynomial. Can I say 1 over x? Is it a polynomial? So a thing to be observed, whenever you have the variable in the denominator, so it is not a polynomial. If the variable is in denominator, so it is not going to be polynomial. Why so? Just see, like we can write it like x raised to the power minus 1. 1 over x is x raised to the power minus 1. What we can observe here, the power of the variable is a negative number, and what I told you, the power should always be a whole number, and we know that the whole numbers can never be negative. The whole number starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 like this way. So this is not a polynomial. So what we have understood till here, whenever we are going to say a polynomial, the two things it should validate. One, it can contain one term, two term, any number of terms. Next thing is that the power of the variable should always be a whole number. Then only we can say it is a polynomial. To understand the types of polynomial. So we have basically three types of polynomial, that is monomial, binomial and trinomial. Monomial is that which contains single terms. Let's say if I say x only, so this is a monomial that contains a single term. If I say 2x square, yes, it is also a monomial because it is containing a single term. If I say binomial, so it can be 2x square plus 3x. 2x square plus 3x. So it contains two terms. Whenever we are saying the terms are counted depending upon the separation of the plus and minus sign. The terms are always separated by plus and minus sign. Here you can see. Now if I say 4x plus 3, again you can have a look that the two terms are separated by a plus sign. It can be like 5x square plus 1. So the two terms are separated by the plus sign. It can be 4x cube plus 2. Yes, again the two terms are separated by that sign. So this is called binomial. Now next we have the trinomials. In case of the trinomial we have the three terms, like if I write 2x square plus x plus 1. 2x square plus x plus 1. So we have the three terms here. These terms are separated by the plus or minus sign. Even we can write 4x plus 5 minus x. You can see that the three terms are there, first, second, third term. They are separated by plus or minus sign. So that's why it is called a trinomial. Is it really a trinomial? You can say no, because this is 4x and this is minus x. So you can simplify it first. So it will be 3x plus 5. So if it is a 3x plus 5, so it is going to be a monomial. So what I taught you here, whenever you have the two terms that can be simplified, so we should simplify it. And now if I add plus x square here, so now it is going to be a trinomial, because now further it cannot be simplified. So it's a trinomial. So whenever we are seeing the monomial, binomial or the trinomial, so it basically depends upon the number of terms. Discuss the degree of polynomial. Whenever we are discussing about the degree, so basically it means the highest power of the x. Let's say, what is the degree? Degree is the highest power. Highest power of x in polynomial px. Just for an example, if I say a polynomial px is 2x square plus 5x cube plus 4. So now you can see it is a trinomial. Why it is a trinomial? Because it contains first term, second term, third term. It is containing three terms, so it is called a trinomial. And now we have to decide what is the highest power. So you can say here the highest power is here 3. If the highest power is 3, so the degree will be 3. So what we will write? The highest power equals to 3, and that is equals to degree of the polynomial. Now let's take another example. If I say a polynomial px is 5x cube plus 2x raised to the power 4 plus 5. So what is the highest power in this? The highest power in this polynomial is raised to the power 4. Here it is raised to the power 4. So the degree of this polynomial, the degree is going to be 4. Now let's take one more example. If I write 0, only 0. So is it a polynomial? Yes, it's a polynomial, but its name is written as 0 polynomial. 0 polynomial. So what will be the degree of this polynomial? The degree of this polynomial is not defined. What we will say, the degree is not defined. The degree is not defined. Why it is not defined? But let's take an example. If I write 0 times x raised to the power 4, so it is going to be 0 only. If I write 0 times x raised to the power 5, so again it is going to be 0. So whatever be the highest power, that highest power is not going to affect 0. It can be 4, it can be 5, anything it can be. So that's why we say the degree of the 0 polynomial is not defined particularly. Now we are going to discuss the types of polynomial based on degree. See, first is a constant polynomial. For the constant polynomial, the degree is 0. An example it can be, let's say it is 2. 2 is a polynomial, it's a constant polynomial having degree 0. Then we have the linear polynomial. So the degree is 1. Degree is 1. So like it is, example we can take 2x plus 1. 2x plus one is the linear polynomial. Then we have a quadratic polynomial. So degree is 2. We can take an example for this, like it is 2x square plus 5. The highest power is 2. So that's why it is going to be called as quadratic polynomial. Now, if we say cubic polynomial, cubic, that is going to be degree is 3. If the degree is 3, so take an example like 2x cube plus x square. So we have the highest power 3, so that's why it is a cubic polynomial. Next we have a zero polynomial. Zero polynomial means degree is not defined. Here the degree, you will write here, the degree is not defined. The degree is not defined. An example is only one, that is 0. So the zero polynomial is going to be 0 only. Now we are going to discuss what is the zero of a polynomial. So zero of the polynomial is that value of x, if I substitute in that polynomial, it makes it 0. So that basically means, let's take an example, like if it is x plus 2, this is a polynomial, yes, it's a polynomial. Why? Because it contains two terms, yes, right. After that, the power of the variable is a whole number, yes, it's a whole number, so this is a polynomial. Now we have to find the zeros of it. So equate it simply to 0, equated it to 0, then you will get x equals to negative 2. Initially, my polynomial px was x plus 2. So I got the value of x as minus 2. So this minus 2 is the zero of the polynomial. Why I am saying that this is the zero of the polynomial? Because if I substitute this value of x back to the equation, it will make it 0. Let's see that. This is px. If I substitute the value of x as negative 2, fine, and this is a plus 2. So that is going to be 0. So what I said, that value of the x which makes the polynomial term completely 0, so that is called the zeros of the polynomial. Now we'll try to find the zeros of this polynomial. So what is the method? Just write the polynomial as it is and equate it to 0. Now it is a quadratic polynomial. Why I am saying it's a quadratic polynomial? Because the maximum power of the variable is 2. The maximum power of the variable is 2, that makes it a quadratic polynomial. Now we'll factorize it. See, how to factorize this? You should be knowing. First of all, we multiply the coefficient of the x square with the constant term. So 1 times 6 will give you 6. Now we have to break 6 into 2 factors. Let's say the 2 factors are 2 and 3. The 2 factors are 2 and 3. So now if I do 2 plus 3, so I will be getting 5 here. And if I do 2 times 3, so I will be getting 6 here. So the two factors should be such that on multiplication they give me this term 6, and if or either by addition or by subtraction, this should generate the middle term. Yes, it's generating 2 and 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So now this can be written as x square plus that 5 will be, we can write it as 3x plus 2x. From where we got 3x and 2x? From here, 3x and 2x plus 6 equals to 0. Now you can take common from this. So x is common, so that will be x plus 3. Then you will take 2 as a common, so it will be 2 is a common, 2, then x plus 3 equals to 0. Now this x plus 3 and this x plus 3 as a common, so this is x plus 3 common, so we are left with this x and then 2 equals to 0. Now equate both of them to 0, so that will be x plus 3 equals to 0, so that will give you x equals to negative 3. This will be x plus 2 equals to 0, so x will be negative 2. Now you have the two values here. The first value of x is negative 2, other value is negative 3. So what the values of x we got, this negative 2 and this negative 3, this is called the zeros of polynomial. Why we are calling it zero of polynomial? Because if I substitute this minus 2 in the main equation, so that will turn out to be 0. So this minus 2 can make this whole equation 0. So that's why we are calling this as the zeros of the polynomial.